The millionaire freezes in horror after discovering who begs for help as mom is dying. James Sterling sat alone in his massive penthouse, the city lights of New York flickering coldly through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Outside, a harsh winter wind howled, wrapping the streets in brittle ice and biting shadows. Inside, silence hung thick, heavy as the gray storm clouds pressing against the skyline. James's fingers drummed an impatient beat on his sleek mahogany desk. His sharp eyes, scanning the late-night financial reports, sprawled before him. Every part of the room screamed control and success. Expensive leather, polished glass, cold steel. But tonight, none of it felt like his world. Suddenly, the sharp ring of his cell phone shattered the silence. The screen glowed urgently. Unknown number. The sound was brutal in the quiet space. He snatched it up. Voice steel, but cold. Sterling. The voice on the other end snapped. A desperate, choked whisper that froze the air around. This was the call every son dreads. But this voice? It wasn't just panic that made him stiffen. "Who is this?" James demanded, trying to hide the tremor creeping into his voice. There was a long pause. Then the voice came back, cracking with pain, and something else, unthinkable, familiar. "James, please, you have to help me." His mind spun. That voice wasn't supposed to exist in his life anymore. It belonged to someone buried deep in a past he'd fought hard to erase. A past tangled in secrets that could destroy everything he'd built. The same past tied, somehow, to his mother's sudden, critical condition. His penthouse suddenly felt claustrophobic, the glistening city outside turning into a dark prison. The flickering lights seemed to dim. James gripped the phone tighter as panic and rage collided inside him. Questions stormed through his head with the force of the winter gale. Why now? Why her? Was this just some cruel trick? Or was the real danger lurking far closer than he feared? The voice pleaded again. Urgent, raw, the kind of plea no man can ignore. The line buzzed softly as the snow whipped against the windows, time stretching unbearably slow and fast, all at once. James's hands trembled. His heart pounded in his ears, louder than the wind. He wanted to bolt to his mother's side, to paper over years of distance with guilt and love. But this call had cracked open a hidden door, one that threatened to flood his world with dirt and shadows, one that forced him to face a nightmare he thought he'd locked away forever. His breath caught. The city outside seemed to hold its breath with him, frozen between fear and fury, between flight and confrontation. James Sterling sat shattered, caught in the storm of cold truth and burning questions. The voice on the phone. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without warning. Just quickly check that red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming your way. And while you're at it, Leave that powerful like. It helps me a lot with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know each incredible person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. James's breath caught in his throat. The cold city seemed to pause, waiting with him. The voice on the phone, the one clawing through years of silence, begged again, pulling at something James thought was lost forever. His hands shook, the weight of 1,000 unspoken truths pressing down. Then too close, too real. James, the voice whispered, half broken, soaked with hate and something deeper, darker. You can't hide anymore. The man stepped into the harsh flood of apartment light. It was Michael, James's brother, the one nobody spoke about, the one he erased from family history like a wound no one was allowed to touch. Michael, scarred and angry, the ghost from James's past nobody dared to face until tonight. James staggered back, panic ripping through his veins. But you're dead. Michael laughed bitterly, a sound harsh and cracked like broken glass. Dead? You wished me gone, but you hadn't finished the job. His eyes burned with cold fire. I'm here because of her, because of Mom. The room shrank. James's chest felt like it was caught in a vice. The truth slammed into him. His mother's sudden collapse wasn't an accident. It was a message. From Michael, alive and furious. The phone buzzed again, forgotten on the desk. James's mind flickered to the call. The desperate voice. Their voice. Then the pieces crashed down. The voice on the line wasn't just someone from the past. It was Michael, playing a cruel game of pain and power. And you, Michael said, stepping closer. You thought locking me out of your perfect life would keep me silent. But I'm back, and I'm not alone. Before James could react, the city lights jerked violently. The massive windows rattled as the power snapped off. Darkness swallowed the penthouse. In the black silence, a second voice cut through the gloom. Soft, chilling, unfamiliar. James, look at me. From the shadows slipped a woman. Someone James didn't expect to see again. Cassandra. James's heart plunged. Cassandra, his old flame, the one who vanished after that scandal years ago. The one he blamed for everything. Her eyes flashed with cold fire, a slow smile spreading. Did you miss me? Or did you pretend I never existed? James's mind shattered. The woman, the brother, the call, none of it lined up with what he thought was real. His life, built on control and distance, was crumbling into chaos. Michael stepped forward, voice low and thick. Mom's sickness? It's only the beginning. You'll find out what loyalty really means tonight. Cassandra's laugh cut through the silence, dark and cruel. You lost everything, James. You just don't know it yet. James swallowed, feeling the floor tilt beneath him. The man frozen moments ago was gone. Now stood a man trapped by secrets far worse than death. Secrets crawling from the shadows, ready to ruin him. Outside, The snow hammered against the glass like urgent drumbeats. Inside, the nightmare had just begun. Who else was hiding in the dark? And how deep did this poison run? James Sterling stared into the black night, his empire of glass and steel suddenly a prison, and wondered if he would ever escape. The darkness pressed down like a heavy blanket. James's breath came fast, ragged, but he didn't move. Cassandra's cold smile, Michael's furious glare, they crashed into him like waves breaking over a rock. Loyalty? James whispered, voice barely there. What the hell are you talking about? Michael stepped forward, voice low and dangerous. You don't remember much, do you? Not about what really happened. The room shrank again, the shadows twisting tighter. Then, before James could say another word, his phone buzzed. The screen glowed dimly in the black. A message appeared. Check the desk. His hands trembled as he reached. A slim envelope, heavy in his palm. His name scrawled across it in a handwriting he recognized. Faint, trembling, but unmistakable. Open it, Cassandra breathed, eyes glittering dangerously. James tore the seal. Inside was a photo, old and worn. It showed two kids, a boy and a girl, standing in a sunlit yard. The boy had a smile like James's, but with something softer, kinder. The girl clutched his hand, tight. James's throat closed. Who? He started. Michael's laugh broke the silence, rough and bitter. Your memories are a mess. Let me fill in the blanks. He reached out suddenly, snatched the photo from James's fingers, and slammed it down on the desk. The image blurred with fresh tears, smudged ink. Then Michael leaned in close. That's you and her. James's heart stopped. Her? Cassandra's voice dropped low. You mean me? James shook his head, numb cold spreading through his chest. No, this can't be. That's you? Michael's eyes narrowed like a predator. Not just her. That little girl? Your daughter, James? Our daughter. The world vanished. The air disappeared. James' knees gave out a fraction, caught only by the edge of the desk. His mind screamed at the impossible. You have a daughter? His voice cracked. Cassandra stepped forward, voice folding with pain. You never knew. You pushed her away before she was born. Before you even knew she existed. James's face burned hot with shame and something darker, something unbearable. Why? Why didn't you tell me? Michael's voice rasped, thick with anger and something deeper. Because you chose power over blood. You erased her, erased us. And now Mom is sick because she's dying from what you did to our family. The heaviness wrapped tighter. James swallowed hard. But she? Where is she now? That was the moment the penthouse shattered again. But this time, not from a door being kicked open. A sudden sharp knock at the window made everyone freeze. Outside, through the icy glass, a tiny figure trembled in the snow, a little girl, soaked and shivering. James blinked. Michael's eyes widened. Cassandra gasped. The girl looked up, eyes wide with fear, and something else. Hope? She raised a small hand, tapping the glass softly. "Dad?" she whispered, voice fragile and broken. James's world exploded. The man who thought he held all the secrets lost everything in a single instant. The daughter he didn't know he had, the family he never thought possible, and the chilling questions screamed in the cold night. Could he fix what had been hidden for so long, or was this just the start of a deeper nightmare? James's breath hitched as the little girl's shaky hand pressed against the icy glass. Her wide eyes searched the penthouse, pleading, hope spilling through the frozen city night. "Dad?" she whispered again, fragile and broken. The room went dead silent. James's heart pounded, chest tight like a vice. Michael's furious glare softened, if only for a moment. Cassandra's cruel smile faded under the weight of that one word, Dad. James moved toward the window, hands trembling so hard the cold was nothing compared to the chill in his bones. He swallowed hard, words caught in his throat. But then, before he could say a thing, the little girl's eyes darted sideways. Her small frame stiffened. Something darker rolled in behind her. A figure emerged from the shadows of the snowy street. Tall, unseen until now. The girl's lip quivered. "No," she breathed. James's blood turned to ice. The figure stepped forward, slow, deliberate. A man in a heavy coat, face hidden beneath a hood. But something about his stance, silent, precise, rang a bell that sent a fresh kind of terror crawling down James's spine. Michael's jaw tightened. Cassandra's grin twisted into something raw. The man reached the glass. Without warning, he slammed his fist against it. The sound cracked through the night air like a gunshot. The girl collapsed backward, sobbing, clutching her chest. James's eyes widened in disbelief, because the man stepped back and pulled back his hood, revealing a face James never expected to see again. His own, but older, harder, scarred. A reflection of himself, but twisted. Something monstrous. James staggered, mind spinning. This can't be," he gasped. "Isn't it sad?" the double said, voice a cold rasp that echoed inside James's head. "You thought you were running from your past, but your past was chasing you all along." Michael took a step forward, rage and confusion battling in his eyes. "What the hell is this? Some sick joke?" "No joke," the double said, voice growing darker. "I'm the reason Mom is sick. I'm why all this pain spilled into your perfect life." James blinked. A sharp pain stabbed his temple. "You're me? How?" The man, James's double, smiled bitterly, eyes burning with bitter fire. "Not just you, the other you, the part you erased with your lies and silence. The man who couldn't pick a life, so he chose destruction." Cassandra shivered, stepping back. "No one can be." "Wrong," the double cut her off. "I'm real and I'm here. You locked me away behind twisted memories and deep secrets, but I never left." James's breath hitched, his hands clenching the window frame. "This is the truth you refused to admit. While you built your empire, I rotted in the shadows. The real reason Mom's dying is because she tried to protect you from me." The room trembled with the weight of the statement. Silence slammed in like thunder. James swallowed, voice barely a whisper. "But if you're me, then who am I?" The double smiled, cruel and dark. "Maybe you're the lie." Outside, the girl's fragile sobs broke the dead air. Her face pressed against the glass once more, desperate, terrified. James's mind shattered. Who was the real James Sterling? Who was the monster in the mirror? And what hell awaited if the truth came crashing through those gleaming city lights? The answers were buried somewhere beneath the ice, and James was running out of time. The nightmare was just beginning. James's breath hitched as the little girl's shaky hand pressed against the icy glass. Her wide eyes searched the penthouse, pleading, hope spilling through the frozen city night. "Dad?" she whispered again, fragile and broken. The room went dead silent. James's heart pounded, chest tight like a vice. Michael's furious glare softened, if only for a moment. Cassandra's cruel smile faded under the weight of that one word. "Dad." James moved toward the window, hands trembling so hard the cold was nothing compared to the chill in his bones. He swallowed hard, words caught in his throat. But then, before he could say a thing, the little girl's eyes darted sideways. Her small frame stiffened. Something darker rolled in behind her. A figure emerged from the shadows of the snowy street. Tall, unseen until now. The girl's lip quivered. "No," she breathed. James's blood turned to ice. The figure stepped forward, slow, deliberate. A man in a heavy coat, face hidden beneath a hood. But something about his stance, silent, precise, rang a bell that sent a fresh kind of terror crawling down James's spine. Michael's jaw tightened. Cassandra's grin twisted into something raw. The man reached the glass. Without warning, he slammed his fist against it. The sound cracked through the night air like a gunshot. The girl collapsed backward, sobbing, clutching her chest. James's eyes widened in disbelief, because the man stepped back and pulled back his hood, revealing a face James never expected to see again. His own, but older, harder, scarred. A reflection of himself, but twisted. Something monstrous. James staggered, mind spinning. This can't be," he gasped. "Isn't it sad?" the double said, voice a cold rasp that echoed inside James's head. "You thought you were running from your past, but your past was chasing you all along." Michael took a step forward, rage and confusion battling in his eyes. "What the hell is this? Some sick joke?" "No joke," the double said, voice growing darker. "I'm the reason Mom is sick. I'm why all this pain spilled into your perfect life." James blinked. A sharp pain stabbed his temple. "You're me? How?" The man, James's double, smiled bitterly, eyes burning with bitter fire. "Not just you, the other you. The part you erased with your lies and silence, the man who couldn't pick a life, so he chose destruction. Cassandra shivered, stepping back. No one can be wrong. The double cut her off. I'm real, and I'm here. You locked me away behind twisted memories and deep secrets. But I never left. James's breath hitched, his hands clenching the window frame. This is the truth you refuse to admit. While you built your empire, I rotted in the shadows. The real reason Mom's dying is because she tried to protect you from me. The room trembled with the weight of the statement. Silence slammed in like thunder. James swallowed, voice barely a whisper. But if you're me, then who am I? The double smiled, cruel and dark. Maybe you're the lie. Outside, the girl's fragile sobs broke the dead air. Her face pressed against the glass once more. Desperate, terrified, James's mind shattered. Who was the real James Sterling? Who was the monster in the mirror? And what hell awaited if the truth came crashing through those gleaming city lights? The answers were buried somewhere beneath the ice, and James was running out of time. The nightmare was just beginning. Suddenly, a sharp crack split the air. A blast rang out, loud, fast. Glass exploded inward, shards raining like frozen knives into the room. James ducked instinctively, heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst. Michael roared, lunging toward the shattered window. Cassandra screamed. But the figure that stepped through the broken glass wasn't human. It stopped right in the middle of the penthouse, dripping icy water from fractured skin, an awful, unnatural shape, half melted, half metal, something born from nightmare and pain. James froze, eyes wide, throat tight, unable to tear away. The creature's cracked voice echoed, chilling and hollow. You don't know. None of it. The past, the lies, the sickness. It reached into its chest, peeling back scorched flesh to reveal a smooth, glowing core, pulsing blue, alive. James staggered back, heart slamming. This is what she hid, what she feared, the creature hissed, voice shaking with rage and sorrow. Your mother was never just human. Michael shook his head, disbelief burning in his eyes. What are you talking about? The thing took a slow step forward. The glowing core throbbed strong in the dim room. I am the truth you refuse to see, a secret rooted in your blood. James's knees buckled. The scarred version of himself outside the window wasn't the whole nightmare. This creature, this inhuman thing in his home was. Suddenly, flashes of memories burst in his mind, his mother whispering strange words in the dead of night, gifts hidden beneath floorboards, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Cassandra gasped, voice trembling. We were lying to ourselves, all of us. The creature's terrible smile spread like poison. She saved you, but at a cost. James stumbled forward, caught between disbelief and collapse, voice raw and breaking. What cost? What do you want? The glowing core pulsed faster. to break the lies, to end what she started. Silence fell, thick and suffocating. Then the phone buzzed, forgotten, flashing again. A new message appeared, chilling in its simplicity. "Look outside." James's breath caught. He looked toward the window, and the city below was gone. In its place, a vast, frozen wasteland stretched for miles. Silent, empty, dead. The nightmare wasn't just inside his penthouse. It was everywhere. And the clock was ticking. James Sterling was no longer sure what was real. But one thing was clear. The story he thought he knew had shattered forever. James's breath caught as he stared down at the frozen wasteland where the city once sprawled beneath him. The glass in the shattered window rattled quietly against the biting wind that had somehow stolen all warmth from the night. His heart pounded hard. It felt like it might shatter against his ribs. Slowly, the inhuman creature stepped forward, its glowing core pulsing. "Your mother's secret was never about illness. It's a curse, a legacy buried beneath lies." James pinched the bridge of his nose, trying to stop his head from spinning. His world had flipped upside down, then spun into a freefall. Then, without warning, the floor beneath him trembled violently. The penthouse groaned, a deep, hungry sound, like the building itself was breathing, agonized and alive. "Not now!" James shouted, clutching the desk. His legs wobbled. Michael and Cassandra yanked him upright as the floor cracked near the windows. Something huge was coming, something massive beneath the ice. Then, the voice of his double, the scarred man outside the window, cut the growing chaos. Quiet, but sharp. "You don't see the whole truth yet, do you?" James looked back out. The frozen wasteland rippled suddenly, as if the ice was breathing. A massive shadow surged beneath the surface, huge claws dragging across the frozen earth. And then the ice cracked open. A deafening roar tore through the night as a gigantic figure burst free, towering, monstrous, with eyes like burning coals and cracks running along its body like jagged scars. But James's breath caught on something far worse. The creature looked exactly like him. Both men, the scarred double and this new beast, shared his face, eerily twisted by pain and fury. The monstrous figure raised one massive hand toward the penthouse. Michael stumbled back, panic in his eyes. "What is that? What the hell is that?" Cassandra whispered, trembling. "It's him. The truth you buried." James felt the lump rise in his throat. He wanted to run, to hide, but his legs wouldn't move. Suddenly, the creature in the room screeched, a horrible sound that ripped shuttered nerves apart, and pointed at James's chest. "The real poison is within you." James's hand flew to his heart. It felt like icy daggers were stabbing through his skin, burning cold and sharp. The door to the penthouse creaked open slowly behind them. Silence stretched thin. Then The snow-darkened silhouette of the little girl appeared again, tentatively stepping inside. But this time, she was different. Her eyes, huge and bright, locked onto James's face. And then she spoke. "I'm not your daughter." The words hit James like a fist. The room froze. Even the monster and his double seemed to pause mid-motion. "What?" James whispered, voice raw. She took a shaky breath and wiped tears away. "I was never born from you. Not truly. I was created." Michael's glare sharpened into something darker. "Created? By whom?" The girl's voice cracked. "By the other side. The side you don't want to see. The side that made Mom, made us, into what we are." James felt the floor drop beneath him again. "What are you saying?" She stepped closer, faint blue light glinting beneath the streetlights through the broken glass. Mom's sickness? The frozen city? The double outside? The monster inside? They're all parts of an experiment, meant to replace you. James's mind twisted, spinning faster than the storm outside. "You thought this was your family, your fight," she said softly. "But you're not the hero in this story. You're the failure they're trying to fix." Cassandra gasped, clutching her mouth. Michael backed away slowly, shaking his head. "No, that can't be." James dropped to his knees, shivering. His empire, his life, his identity, fractured beyond repair. The little girl looked at him, eyes filled with something like pity. "Say goodbye, James," she whispered, "because the person you think you are is already dead." The wind howled outside, carrying her words into the endless frozen night, and James Sterling was left alone, drowning in a nightmare where everything he believed was a lie, or worse, where he was never really himself at all. What if the real James Sterling was the monster outside, the shadow behind every truth? And what if the time to find out had already passed? The only certainty was one dangerous, terrible thing. The nightmare was deepening, and there was no turning back. James's breath hitched as he stared down at the frozen wasteland where the city once sprawled beneath him. The shattered window rattled lightly against a wind so cold it clawed through his bones. His heart hammered, sharp and wild, like it might break free from his chest. The creature in the room stepped forward again, its glowing core pulsing in slow, cruel beats. Its cracked voice whispered, "Your mother's secret isn't sickness. It's a curse, a weight you never asked for." James squeezed his eyes shut, trying to stop his head from spinning. His world was breaking, fracturing like glass. Then, suddenly, the floor beneath them trembled with a deep, angry groan. "Not now," James gasped, gripping the edge of the desk. His legs shook violently. Michael and Cassandra helped steady him as cracks zigzagged near the window. Something massive stirred beneath the ice. Outside, the scarred James moved his lips. "You don't see the full picture yet." James glanced out. The frozen wasteland rippled, shifting, like the icy surface was breathing. A shadow grew beneath the white. The ice burst apart with a deafening roar. A colossal figure emerged, monstrous, towering over them. Eyes like burning coals, body cracked and scarred. James's breath froze. The creature's face was his own, twisted, raging, raw oath. It and the scarred double outside shared James's features. Michael stumbled back, voice shaking. "What the hell is that thing?" Cassandra barely whispered. "It's you, the truth you buried." James's throat tightened. He wanted to run, but his legs were frozen. The creature screamed, a savage, broken sound, and pointed at James's chest. "The real poison is inside you." James clutched his heart, an icy fire stabbing deep. Behind them, the penthouse door creaked open. The little girl stepped inside, her eyes huge and bright as they locked on James. But then, she said, "I'm not your daughter." Silence hit like a punch. James whispered, "What?" She took a shaky breath, voice trembling. "I was never born from you." "Not really. I was made." Michael's eyes darkened. "Made?" "A question." "By who?" "The other side," she said, voice cracking. "The side you refuse to see. The side that made Mom, that made us." James felt the room tilt, air thick and cold. "What do you mean?" Her eyes gleamed faint blue in the broken light. "Mom's sickness, the frozen city, the monster outside, the scarred double, all part of an experiment meant to replace you." James's mind spun out of control. "You thought this was your family, your fight, but you're not the hero. You're the failure, the one they tried to erase." Cassandra gasped, hand over her mouth. Michael stepped back, shaking. "No, no way." James sank to his knees, body trembling. Everything he built, his life, his identity, crumbling. The girl looked down, then back up with a strange softness. "Say goodbye, James. The man you think you are is already dead." A cold wind howled outside, carrying her words into the empty night. James's breath caught. Then, suddenly a harsh crack came from behind. The shattered window exploded inward again, shards flying like knives. But this time, a voice, calm and clear, cut through the chaos. "Enough." The room froze. From the darkness stepped a figure, tall, steady, dressed all in black, eyes glowing faint gold. It was her, the mother, but not the frail woman on death's edge. This was a different version, young, fierce, untouched by sickness. Her face was calm but unbearable, filled with a power that bent the very air. She walked forward, slow, deliberate. Every step silenced the storm within the room. James struggled to stand, voice shaking. "Mom? How?" She turned to him, eyes sharp like ice. "You were never supposed to know." Her hand flicked, and the broken window sealed itself like new glass. The air shifted, heavy, alive. Then she smiled, not warm, but cruelly calm. You think this was an accident? A curse? No. It was a plan, a test. You, this you, was the failure. James's heart sank deeper. My sickness, your double, the monster. She nodded once. All designed to find out what you truly are. James's breath caught. The little girl stepped forward, glowing softly now. Because none of us are who you think. The mother looked at James, eyes cold but sad. You're not the original. You never were. The room spun. James's world shattered again, harder. His voice was barely a whisper, cracked and broken. Then, who am I? The mother's smile deepened, voice like ice on glass. You're the copy. And the real James, she paused, eyes burning gold, is still out there. Watching, waiting, perfecting the nightmare. The little girl's soft voice echoed. And if he finds you first, silence dropped like a guillotine. James's mind exploded with terror. Who was the real man? What had he become? And how long before the nightmare outside the window and inside him came crashing in for good? The storm wasn't over. It was only getting started. James's breath caught again. The air pressed heavy, thick with the weight of impossible truths. The glowing mother, the chilling little girl, the monstrous double outside. The entire room felt like it was collapsing in on itself, twisting into a nightmare he couldn't wake from. You're the copy, she had said. The real James, still out there, watching, perfecting the nightmare. His heart pounded so loud he thought it might burst. A cold sweat dripped down his back. He struggled to stand, legs trembling beneath him. He looked at Cassandra, who was gripping Michael's arm tightly, eyes wide with fear. Michael's jaw was clenched, but his gaze held a dangerous edge, like he was ready to fight whatever came next. Then, everything stopped. The tense silence shattered with a piercing crack from the direction of the hallway. The penthouse door slammed open. A figure stepped in, calm but deadly. The room froze. It was the real James. Not a shadow, not a ghost. The actual James Sterling. And he looked nothing like the man standing by the window. The man shaking, like he was losing his mind. Real James's eyes burned cold, hard, empty. But more than that, he was untouched. No signs of sickness, no scars. He took a slow step forward. Who the hell are you? His voice was rough, but steady. The man who'd called himself James, the copy, stumbled back like he'd been punched. No, this can't be. You're dead. We buried you. The real James gave a humorless chuckle. Buried? You buried the wrong me. The little girl gasped, stepping back toward Cassandra. Michael's eyes darted between the two men. Confusion, rage, and something deeper. Fear flashing across his face. Real James surveyed the room, cold and clinical, as if examining a crime scene. Then, he fixed his gaze on his copy. "You think you're him? The real James Sterling?" His smirk twisted with dark amusement. "You're a fragment, a mask, a ghost made flesh." The copy's hands shook. "What are you? What is this?" Real James's face hardened. "I'm the original, the real one, the one who built the world you wanted to steal." He glanced at the glowing mother figure, then turned to the little girl. "You were created, yes, not by me, but by them. And she was never your mother." Cassandra gasped, stepping back. The glowing woman's eyes narrowed, but she didn't move. Real James's voice dropped to a whisper that cut through the room like a blade. "But here's the real truth. It's not just about copies, or monsters, or experiments." His hand shot forward, sudden, fast, and the entire room plunged into darkness. The only light came from the pulsing core inside the creature. Then, "No, stop it, please." The glowing mother stepped forward, hands raised, trying to block the blinding surge of light erupting from the core. But it was too late. The entire penthouse shook violently. Then, a blinding flash swallowed everything. When the light faded, only one man stood in the center of the chaos. Real James's face, but younger, clearer, serene and unscarred. The perfect man. His eyes blinked open slowly, calm and empty. He looked around and smiled coldly. "I'm back." But something was off. Because the copy, Cassandra, Michael, and the little girl were gone. Vanished. The creature with the glowing heart was silent and still. The distant city lights outside flickered. James's heart hammered painfully. "Where am I?" the man whispered. And in the shadows, a new voice, soft, terrible, answered. "You're inside the program. The nightmare isn't real. Not yet." The new James's smile faltered. Then, the penthouse walls rippled like a screen losing signal, and the chilling question screamed through his mind. Who was he, really? And what if everything had been a lie, crafted inside a machine? The nightmare wasn't just beginning. It was constructed, and now the system was rebooting. The true horror, it hadn't ended. It was just resetting. The man with the perfect face blinked, his cold smile fading as the walls around him rippled like hot airwaves. The program was glitching. The cityscape outside shimmered, fragments of a world half-formed, flickering, and falling apart. "Where am I?" he whispered, voice shaking. The dark voice from the shadows answered sharp and low. "You're inside the simulation. The nightmare is a construct. Nothing real yet." He swallowed hard. His flawless hands clenched the floor like it was slipping away beneath him. Then, the air shattered. A piercing scream burst from the darkness. The glow from the core died. The perfect man's eyes snapped open wide, terror ripping through his calm. A figure burst through the blackness, ragged, urgent, dragging behind it a limp body. The voice was trembling but fierce. "Stop this. Please, it's not over. You lied." The limp form lifted, revealing the copy James, blood trickling down his temple, eyes wild with panic. He coughed, forcing words out in ragged gasps. "You erased us. Erased me. You're not real. The nightmare's breaking. You're him, the fake." The perfect man froze, shock washing over him like ice water. His hands trembled. "Fake?" he echoed, voice cracking. "I was built to be perfect." The copy shook his head violently, eyes blazing. "No, you were built to be better, yes, but built for a purpose. To replace who? Me, the real James. The one you see as a mistake. The one you locked away. But here's the truth." Suddenly, the walls warped and cracked. A rushing sound filled the air like collapsing steel. Then, whispers, faint but growing louder, voices from inside the machine. And then, lightning fast, something exploded from the floor beneath them. The ground ruptured. The perfect man fell, grasping at the air as the floor disappeared under him. The darkness swallowed him whole. The copy scrambled back, breath ragged. And in that moment, the machine hissed, a new voice rising with cold amusement. "You think this ends with your fight? No. There's a truth you'll never see, because it's inside you both." The copy looked down, horrified. Beneath where he stood, a pulsing core throbbed, faint but unmistakable, like a heart buried in ice. Then, lightning cracked. The perfect man emerged from below, no longer perfect. His face twisted, raw and bleeding, skin torn like brittle paper. But it wasn't the same man. This one's eyes were hollow, his smile broken and wild. He looked at his copy, his rival, in a voice soaked with hate and disbelief. "I am the original." The copy slammed back against the shattered glass wall, breathing fast, trembling. What do you mean? I am James Sterling." The wounded man chuckled darkly, voice thick with venom. "You think you are, but you're just another layer of the same lie. The experiment, the replacement born from the shadows." Suddenly, the glowing mother appeared again, stepping between them. Her voice cracked, low and deadly. "Both of you are echoes. Neither is whole. Neither is free." And there, pressed against the flickering glass, the little girl whispered, her voice soft and empty. "You're all just fragments of him." The perfect man's eyes went wide, pain breaking through the mask. The copy's mind shattered like breaking glass. The injured man rose slowly, voice a twisted echo. But what if the real James never existed? Silence dropped hard. The mother reached out, touching the pulsing core beneath the penthouse floor. The original was never human. The room shuddered as the truth crashed. James Sterling, the name, the man, the life, the nightmare, was just a ghost in a machine, and behind every layer, every mask, was something far darker, something no one was ready to face. The nightmare had nested deeper than anyone could imagine. And it was only just waking up. The question now wasn't who James Sterling was. It was what he really was, and if anyone would survive the truth when it finally came free. The room shook again, the cracked walls trembling like they might collapse at any second. James's chest heaved painfully. His heart pounded like a drum in his ears, blood roiling wild and raw. The glowing mother, the little girl who wasn't his daughter, the monster twisted in his own image. It all pressed tight, suffocating, a storm closing in. Then, silence. Sharp, heavy. Real James, older, scarred, furious, stepped forward, eyes burning. The so-called copy dropped to his knees, shaking, broken. "This ends now," Real James growled. "No more lies, no more games." The glowing mother's light dimmed, her cold gaze softening for the first time. The little girl watched, fragile and silent, the weight of centuries behind her young eyes. James, the copy, looked up, trembling, tears cutting cold tracks down his cheeks. "I don't want this to be the end. I want a chance, a real one." Real James's expression cracked. A breath, shallow and ragged. "What do you want?" he asked, voice low. "To fix it, to fix this damn mess. To save Mom. To save all of us." The room seemed to hold its breath. The monster, still looming in the corner, silent now, shivered, as if listening. The mother nodded slowly. "Then do it. But you'll have to surrender everything you think you are." Michael stepped forward, fingers clenched tight. "Are you ready? Will you risk it?" James stared at his own hands, shaking, scarred, trembling, like leaves in a storm. "I am." A spark ignited in the air. The glowing core in the creature's chest pulsed faster. Shadows pulled back. The penthouse trembled. Walls cracked. Lights flickered. Then, a wave of cold washed over them, but beneath it, something warm stirred. James's breath hitched. The little girl stepped closer, her pale hand reaching, brushing against his trembling skin. "Together," she whispered. Real James smiled, weak, real, and joined hands with the copy. The glowing mother raised her arms. The monster stepped silent, less monstrous now. Light flooded the room. The frozen wasteland outside began to melt, the city's pulse returning, life seeping back into shattered glass and broken dreams. A heavy silence. Then a breath, a new beginning. James's chest eased. The tight clasp in his throat loosened. Hope sneaked in through the cracks. The nightmare wasn't over, but it had shifted, changed. They had a chance, a fragile one, to rebuild, to heal, to face the shadow, and maybe, just maybe, survive. But as the last shards of ice fell from the window, a soft voice reached them all. Cold, distant, but unmistakable. "Not yet. The darkness waits." James looked out, eyes hardening. The city whispered secrets beneath the thaw. And somewhere, deep in the shadows, the real game was just waking. Now, you need to subscribe right now. Don't wait. Hit that red button before it disappears. This is the moment to lock in your place. Smash that like button too, right now. It feeds the algorithm. Make sure the story keeps coming, keeps growing. And don't just watch quietly. Flood the comments with every theory you have, every shock, every tear. Let me know how this ending hit you. We want to talk. We need to talk. Then, don't even think twice. Instantly share this video with 5 friends who need to see how this ends. Don't wait even one more second to spread the word. Only true fans get how serious this is. Your support means everything. Because one thing's for damn sure. This nightmare isn't finished. And the next chapter, it's coming.